Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I've got some ideas for you if you are looking for a summer job. So we're going to talk about where to get started and how to promote yourself. That way you can earn a little extra spending money this summer. Pools become really popular in the summer because it's so hot and everybody wants an opportunity to cool off. So because of that, lifeguards are also really in high demand during the summer. This is actually a really great job for high school students because it's one that you could do year after year. One thing that you need to understand about this though is that in order to be a lifeguard, you need to be certified. And so before you start pursuing this option, you need to make sure that you have the right credentials, which usually includes taking a class and passing a test. Lots of places like water parks, community pools need lifeguards, and so it's a great way to work on your tan, meet some cool friends, and also just stay involved and have regular hours. If being out by the pool doesn't sound like a fun summer job, then you might consider tutoring. A lot of parents actually look for tutors for their younger children during the summer because they want to make sure that the learning doesn't stop and that they don't have a gap at the beginning of the next school year. So one way to do this would be to go on Facebook or some other form of social media, have your parents advertise it as well, and just announce that you're doing tutoring. Be very specific about your rate. So one way to think of how to choose your rate, I would suggest thinking about how much babysitters in your area get paid and then choosing that as your hourly rate, maybe $1 or $2 more, but you don't want an astronomical price because you're not a licensed educator. That being said, be really specific about what services you offer. A lot of young high school students, like freshmen and sophomores, might be looking for ACT or SAT tutoring, so if you have a good score, you can advertise that. A lot of younger students need help with things like math and English, and so you might not necessarily know a ton about those subjects, but chances are if you're older than they are, you can handle it just fine. And so there's lots of free worksheets and different things online if you're stuck, but it can be a great way to earn an hourly rate. And it's one of the things where if you do a good job with one client, then that parent is going to recommend you to their friends. And so you might actually be able to build a small group of people that you tutor during the summer and possibly during the school year. This is not just a summer only job. Because school is out during the summer, kids need a place to go, and oftentimes that place is camp. So there is a need for camp counselors. For some camps, you do have to be 18 in order to be a camp counselor, but other times you don't. So look for local camps, especially camps that are only a week long, things like a STEM camp or maybe an arts and crafts camp, things where you could be a junior counselor or maybe just work off to the side, maybe you're serving lunches, something like that. But camps are a great way to get those hours in and have regular pay. This next opportunity is a classic, but it is a great way to build a mini business for yourself. So lawn care is incredibly popular during the summer because the sun is shining, grass grows, and quite frankly, not everybody wants to mow their lawn. And you might have to mow for your family, but not everybody has someone who can mow the lawn for them, so they pay someone to do it. So what you need to think about is, first of all, do you have a lawnmower and a means of transporting that lawnmower to other people's houses? If the answer is yes, you might just start putting out flyers in your neighborhood or advertise on social media and charge a flat rate for what it would cost to do someone's yard. And I would say you want to kind of like lowball the price a little bit, be a little bit more frugal, because usually there are professional businesses, and so you want to be priced lower than those professional businesses because it would make people more likely to hire you, especially if it's the same quality service for a lower rate. Now, if you can't afford to start your own business, you can actually join a company because there are several lawn care companies in most towns. So they tend to hire high school students during the summer because they need extra hands on deck because people want their gardening done, they want their lawn care done, and so there's a lot of extra work that needs to happen. So what you can do is, if you are starting your own business, you can start with lawns, but you might actually offer other services. You might weed someone's garden, you might offer to put down their mulch, things like that. So come up with ways to kind of expand upon your lawn care business, and that can give you not only more clients but more money. Another great option if you like being outdoors is being a caddy. You don't have to be a golf expert or even on the high school golf team to do this. You simply have to be willing to learn, and you need to be rather personable. If academic tutoring isn't your thing, but you're really good at sports, you might consider offering lessons. So a lot of times parents want to pay for private lessons for their students to help them get better, but they might not have the money to shell out for private coaching. So this is where you as a high school student can come in because you're an expert in your field. And let's say you're a 16-year-old who plays varsity soccer. You can teach a 6-year-old how to kick a ball. So a couple things to think about to make sure that you're successful with this. Number one, set an hourly rate. Make sure the parent stays the entire time because you don't want them to just up and leave. Meet in a public place and make sure your parents know where you are. Another thing is to discuss equipment. So are you going to bring the soccer ball or is the student? Do you have cones? If not, can you buy some? Or can you use something else as cones? You might not even need cones. Another thing to remember is to give the kids water breaks because sometimes we forget that. So make sure you have a lesson plan for your practice. You're going to need to have a warm-up, some activities, and a cool down. And also make sure you're being positive without overly praising. And you want to make sure that the parents see progress. So you can start with some basic skills and progress through those things. And if you do that, chances are they're going to recommend you to their friends and you'll get 3 or 4, maybe even more clients in no time. Another option for you if you like sports, but maybe you don't want to coach, maybe working with little kids is not your thing, then you can be a referee. So a lot of students do this in the off season for the sport that they know, and you do need to be certified, but a lot of the certifications are not very expensive. You just take a class and you're done, and you can ref on the weekends or maybe even during weeknights in the off season and make some regular money. Another really popular option is babysitting. So if you like working with kids, but you don't want to teach them how to play sports, this could be an option because once kids are out of school, parents still have their jobs and they need childcare. So you might be able to do it regularly, like every day during the day. You might have a certain night that they need you, that kind of thing. So a couple tips if you're going to go into babysitting. First of all, you need to decide if you want to have a set rate or if you're going to let your client choose the rate. Personally, when I was a babysitter, I let the client choose because I was like basically unsure of what to say. So I just let them set the price. Another thing that you want to think about is being punctual. So it's always good to be early, but not super early. You don't want to show up 30 minutes early, but you don't want to show up right on the dot at 7 o'clock. You might want to show up 10 to 15 minutes early and just be ready. Understand that the parents are probably going to be making sure that the kids are fed and clothed and all that kind of stuff. So it might be a little bit chaotic. Be patient. You also might consider getting certification through the American Red Cross. They have a babysitters program, and even though it sounds kind of simple, it's actually something that could put the parents at ease because it's a certification that you have. So it basically just tells them, hey, I know basic first aid, I know how to troubleshoot, I've got this. And this is another one where if you do a good job with one family, then they could recommend you to other people. So as far as how to get babysitting jobs, again, social media can be a really cool option. You could also make flyers for your neighborhood and put them in people's mailboxes or on their front door, something like that, if you want to try to grow your business that way. But again, it's the kind of thing where one person basically needs to take a chance on you, and then word of mouth is the best way to grow. This next option is one of my favorites because I really think this is a need that people don't even know that they have. Children's birthday parties lately have become this crazy expensive endeavor. So if you could be a party princess, let's say, maybe you can dress up like Elsa or Anna, or maybe you could just be a generic princess, who knows? Or maybe you could dress up like Spider-Man or the Incredible Hulk or a clown. Maybe you could do magic tricks. Maybe you can do balloon animals. These are things that you can do for a very short period of time. You would just do a quick little performance and basically wish the birthday boy or birthday girl happy birthday, and you could be on your way. So if you're into theater and acting, maybe you like dress up, this could be a really cool option. And again, it's something where if you do a good job, then you could book other gigs, and it's probably a more affordable option for a lot of parents as opposed to renting out some of these big, huge facilities and that kind of thing. So you might start with some smaller parties, but it could be a business that could continue not just in the summer, but throughout the whole year. If you're interested in photography or art, you might consider selling your products. So for instance, photography. A lot of times professional photography can be super expensive, and not everybody can afford to pay for $400 or $500 for 5 edited images. That's crazy. So if you can choose a reasonable price, and if you have a decent camera and you know how to work it, then you can do senior pictures for somebody. You can do family portraits. You can even just take generic pictures of waterfalls or leaves or flowers, things that you enjoy in nature, and you could even sell those to maybe like a dentist office or someone who's trying to decorate. And as far as art, think of it like running your own personal Etsy shop without going online. Now, of course, you could do that if you wanted to, but a lot of times people need custom pieces and they don't necessarily want to go online. They want to be able to talk to somebody face to face. So you could design t-shirts, you could design artwork and paintings for someone's nursery, that kind of thing. So if you're really interested in art, chances are if you can put some of your samples up and create a way for people to contact you, somebody's somebody's going to want something of yours, or they would commission you for a project. And this can be a great way to start a business, and it could also help you build a portfolio. For those that are mechanically inclined, car detailing is a great way to put in a few hours of work and make a good amount of money. So here's what you can do. Let's say the average adult in your area who does car detailing charges $125. That's the going rate in my hometown. You could charge, like one of my students did, $80. That is a noticeable difference in the price. And so it makes people want to choose your service. So once one or two people went to this student and had their cars detailed and realized that it was as good of a job as the person who was charging $125, more people went to him to get their car detailed. And suddenly he had a ton of business and was making a lot of money because people wanted his service. What you can also do to get a little bit of business is create a Facebook page. It's free. So let's say your name is Bobby. You could create Bobby's Car Detailing. That way, when someone goes on Facebook and is looking for a recommendation and says, hey, does anyone know someone who could detail my car? Someone could just type in your Facebook page and link it and say, hey, I use Bobby and he's great. Check out Bobby's Car Detailing. That way you look a little bit more professional and people can see pictures of your work. You can get reviews and testimonials, and you can set your rates and contact information. And so you seem a little bit more professional, and that might also help you generate more business. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video inspired you to think outside the box a little bit when it comes to a summer job, because oftentimes jobs can feel like they're very limited. I hear students say all the time, there's no jobs available, or all the good jobs are taken. So I encourage you to be a little bit creative, put yourself out there and give yourself a chance, because there are small things out there, and if you do enough small jobs, it can add up too. So until next time, guys, happy writing.